What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and definitely got I probably should sit up for this, but then my head's getting cut off. Man, I hope I got this looking okay. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today I want to do something totally different. Judging by the title of this video, you might got an idea that this is going to be something maybe you guys are going to want to check out. What this is I want to do a 2020 recap. Now, you know, that's kind of a touchy thing for a number of reasons. One, 2020 was such a horrible year for so many people for so many reasons, mostly in relation to just the pandemic and just all the crazy turmoil that the world is currently dealing with, still dealing with here in the beginning of 2021. The next reason is, you know, it's already after 2021. We're in the first week of 2021. Some people would say that I missed the mark if I was going to do some kind of a rewind or something like that. The fact of the matter is, for the last 2 years, I had done an After Prison Show rewind. I was going to do one for this year, and I'm not going to do one for last year. The reason for that is because of the things that I've just mentioned, and also in relation to After Prison Show, 2020 was not that great of a year. Forget the views and the channel dying and, you know, what some may say and may even be correct about. The fact of the matter is, 2020 was a year of a lot of mistakes on my part, on the part of others, and it was just a really, really rocky year all the way around the board. There was good things that happened, but it almost seems like there was a lot of drama. Now, it doesn't almost seem like, there definitely was. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of BS. I probably handled quite a few situations the wrong way, and this is not in any way an effort to boo-hoo for me. I'll wear whatever I need to wear, but I do want to kind of react to 2020 a little bit with you guys. Get your opinion, share some things, remind you guys of some things that took place, give you guys my honest opinion as to 2020 on After Prison Show and the things that we dealt with. So with all of that being mentioned, let's go ahead and get into this. Basically what I've done is I've gone all the way back to January the 1st on my phone in terms of what video did we upload on January the 1st. And it's just crazy to think that the beginning of 2020, from the very first day, it was drama. Yeah. But anyways, the very first video that I uploaded on January 1st, 2020 was called I Fired Him. Major house update. Now, if you never saw that video was in relation to the flip house and also in relation to Jellicoe. You know, when I first started doing the first flip house last year, we got that first flip house on December the 15th of 2019. We would not be completed and out of that house, sold that house until I think the end of July, maybe somewhere in August. I think it was by the time we were completely done with that. But the very first video that I did for 2020, if it was going to be the video that kind of painted the trajectory, the direction of where 2020 was going to be, well, I did a great job with drama. Now, again, Jellicoe, he was a big help to me. Man, you know, I hate to, we're going to talk quite a bit about so many things. I'm going to be very candid about so many things as well. But, you know, I hated this, and I got to be honest, like, it was a major mistake. That was a major mistake. I fired Jellicoe for Brian number 1. And for those of you who remember anything about the first flip house and the many Bryans, Brian number 1, he was another major mistake. The beginning of 2020 would be the flip house and Brian number 1 and trying to get this house rocking and rolling, and so much stuff going wrong, drama, and then eventually it would be Brian number 1 shortly thereafter. I mean, right at the beginning of 2020, taking off. And this dude ran off with, you know, about $4,000 worth of money that I had paid him, materials that he stole and returned to Lowe's. Not to mention, damn near stole my box truck, the make-believe abracadabra. Abracadabra. Forgive me if that was super cringe. I'm trying to learn ASMR at the same time. The make-believe HVAC system, Brian number 1. Major, major mistake. But that was the beginning of 2020. I fired Jellicoe for Brian number 1. He took off, and then everything that would follow thereafter in relation to all of the mistakes in relation to that first house. I would also end up putting charges on Brian number 1, which would lead to a lot of videos about me dealing with the police and whether or not what I was doing pressing these charges on this guy was snitching. Yeah, it's snitching. But in business, you better snitch or you're going to be left holding an empty bag, as I felt like I was doing. Ironically enough, with all of that, I have not heard anything from the police in relation to, charges or whether or not this dude has been arrested. I will share with you, though, something that I don't think that I've told you guys about, and it was just, my God, when was this? It was a couple of months ago. I can't remember exactly. I think it was right around the time when we got the second flip house. Like, you couldn't even make this stuff up. When we got the second flip house, Brian #1 actually reached out to me. He would send me a text message and we would interact via text for a little bit. And, it could have been anybody saying that they were Brian #1, but he would say some things that would let me know that it truly was him. And basically the gist of why he was reaching out, I thought he wanted to work on the second flip house. But the reason he was reaching out was because he wanted to tell me, hey, look, I want to try to get you the money back that I owe you. If I dig through my phone, maybe I still have those messages. But he said he wanted to try to get me the money back. I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to this. If he gets me the money back, do I drop the charges? That would have been something that I would have considered. And I think I even mentioned something like that along the lines of, but I was very hesitant to do so because I didn't want it to sound like it was an ultimatum or like some kind of a threat. Yeah, pay me back and I'll drop the charges. Or I didn't want it to sound crazy if it's making any sense what I'm trying to say that's might not be making any sense. But needless to say, he would end up saying something to me along the lines of, yeah, I'm not even really worried about your situation. And I know that sounds, kind of harsh because, damn, it's just like F me, right? But I think what he was trying to say right there was that he had a lot more other situations that he was probably more worried about. I don't know. That was the last time that I had heard from this guy. There was Dave with the dreads. We got a chance to meet him through Jellicoe. We met quite a few people through Jellicoe, as a matter of fact. Dave with the dreads, a really good dude who was struggling like so many other people with his own personal problems and battles that he was dealing with. He would end up having to go to court, have to end up getting locked up. And I know that he has since been released. He messaged me one time. He wanted to talk with me, but that was it. I messaged him back, said, yeah, whenever you want to talk. And I haven't heard from him since, and I don't really know how to get in contact with him. I would love to be able to feature an update with that guy and would hope that it would be a positive thing. For 2021, I want this year to be way more positive and way less focused on the drama. And toward the end of 2020, I was really realizing that that's what I needed to do. There were people that I had to cut off, people that I had to just separate myself and the show from, not just in an effort to keep me in the show away from what I consider to be the negativity, but also because I felt like in some cases, I'm going to give you a perfect example, Rabbit. So many people asking, where's Rabbit, this and that, and all of the crazy stuff that took place with Rabbit in 2020. I feel like it's truly best for him to not be on camera. I want to see that man succeed, and I know that he has struggled, and, I feel for this dude, and I've tried to do so much to help him, but you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. And I know, or at least I want to believe, that he wants to help himself, and hopefully he is. Maybe this year I'll see Rabbit get to a much better place, and maybe this year it would be my hope to see Rabbit come back stronger than he's ever been. And, sadly, while on the subject of, some of these folks that we're talking about, there was me separating myself from Jellicoe in that situation. That was a hard thing for me to do. Jellicoe was a good friend of mine, somebody that I really saw so much in, and I want to still see so much in. I don't know what the situation is with Jellicoe at this point, and I just wish him the very best. I think back to when the shit hit the fan with Jellicoe. Jellicoe caught charges. I would cut ties right then and there because it was just an ugly situation. Those charges, whatever. I felt like it was the right thing to do for me to cut ties, and at the time I felt like that. And I feel like maybe I handled that situation wrong. I could have handled that situation better. I should have handled that situation better, but what could I have honestly done? Jellicoe caught charges. I didn't feel like there was any explanation that could have been given. Maybe there could have been. The fact of the matter is, the mistake that I feel like I truly made in that situation is I reacted too abruptly. And I should have tried to take my time with it, but I didn't. And there ain't no justification for it. The shit hit the fan the very next day. I mean, people were already knowing, already posting this information, mugshots, right there on Facebook. And I kind of felt like the rope was tightening around my neck a little bit. That's probably not the greatest way to word that, but I felt trapped, and I always feel trapped when it's some drama and it's like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I cut ties? I wish I would have handled that situation better. I didn't handle that situation better. I feel like that was a mistake on my end, and I wish that man all the best. I'm telling you, 2021, we're going to try to be a lot more positive. We would have some fun getting back to the prison videos. To think about doing After Prison Show for 5 years, and I'm still able to do prison videos. People will comment and say, Joe, you've run out of ideas. You've got no more stories. You're probably right. Every once in a while, a story will come to mind. I'll be reminded maybe from a conversation that I'm having with somebody else. But to think that I'm still able to crank out ideas from time to time, and sometimes they might be similar to other videos. It might even be something like, Joe, haven't you done this video before? And maybe I have. But if I have, at least I'm doing it newer and improved, or at least trying to improve upon an old idea. But some of the prison videos that I did that I enjoyed were like this one, the top 5 worst commissary items. Toilet paper in prison. Such an underrated video right there. Toilet paper in prison. That's a pretty important thing to have. And if you ain't got it, you're going to learn real quick the many different uses of a sock. Prison hacks for writing letters. That was a fun one as well. What else we got going on? Another big thing that took place in 2020 that wasn't drama related, and it was a very positive thing, was the fact that I took on a boatload of landscaping work. It was in 2019 where I put in a monster bid for a major landscaping job that would end up taking 6 days when we finally got it. And it would be in 2020 when they would actually give us the okay to do this work. This job would start out on day 1 with me and my wife. On day 2, me and my wife and Shannon. On day 3, me, my wife, Shannon, Shannon's brother. On day 4, me, my wife, Shannon, Shannon's brother, and Rabbit. And on the final 2 days, or the final days, it would be those same folks. 5 people, me, my wife, Shannon, Shannon's brother, Rabbit. It would be the 5 of us out there getting this job done. From that job, where I would end up making $600 for the week, and my wife would make that same money. So we made $1,200 combined, which wasn't bad. It wasn't great by no stretch. But from that, I would get the entire 2020 landscaping work from this one property and this one property owner. And it was a really awesome thing to be able to not only get this work and do this work and try to put a guy or two to work whenever I could, but to be able to maintain this for the entire 2020, at the same time film videos, at the same time be doing the Bobo, because I was definitely doing the Bobo all through 2020 damn near, until the end of it when I decided to wrap it up for a little while. Super proud of that landscaping work. And hopefully I'm going to be able to continue that in 2021 as well. Maybe even get a little bit more landscaping work. Another customer or two. That would be really awesome. There was Tiger King in 2020. I did a Tiger King reaction. That actually did pretty good. Maybe I should do more reaction videos. We had the introduction of the Joe Ross series. Man, I had a lot of fun with that, and sadly to say, I stopped doing that because it seemed like nobody really liked those. The people who did like those really liked those, and the people who didn't like those really didn't like those. And that was evident by the views that those videos were getting. However, if you look at the views now, it's pretty much anything seems to be fair game because, well, the views have taken a major hit. And I don't say that to boo-hoo. I say that as a realist. I've been doing this for a long time, and was 2020 a detrimental year for After Prison Show? It wasn't pandemic related or anything, or like a million other channels popping up related. Maybe to a certain degree, but I'll be honest with you, it was the drama It was drama related. What I feel like really caused some major suffering for the viewership of After Prison Show. Forget the views. It was just the people who had faith in and enjoyed and rocked with After Prison Show took a major hit from the drama. And one of the biggest drama situations that I feel like led to that was the return of Danny. I was telling somebody about this the other day, and this was, really eye-opening for me to think about this. But, Danny was probably one of the biggest. He was the biggest person that we ever featured outside of me, myself, and I'm not trying to compare like me to him or anything like that, but After Prison Show was successful prior to Danny, and Danny definitely added a boost to that. And it was amazing to be able to feature this man's story, to be able to work with this man and see so many doors open up. Movie opportunities, the GoFundMes, getting him an apartment and work opportunities, and just seeing this man's life transform after 40 years in prison. And along the way, yes, there were the bumps and the bruises that me and him would take behind the scenes. And I would always try to keep that under wraps. And I don't want that to sound wrong, because I know that that's going to sound like, oh, Joe, you an asshole behind closed doors. I can be. Don't get it twisted. I definitely can be. But that wasn't the case. And that's not what I'm referring to right here. I would always try to protect a person's image. Let me wear the brunt of the responsibilities, even though a lot of people will say that I don't ever take the blame in anything and it's always somebody else's fault versus being my own fault. Whenever it would come to issues along the way, or, I got to wash my hands of this person or that, I would always say, well, I should have done things differently, or, it's my fault for this or my fault for that. I would say that. But the fact of the matter is, you don't ever want somebody like, I didn't ever want to see Danny be villainized. He was already, death dealer and the devil horns and all, the crazy tattoos and the look and the things that he had been through, they already were what they wore. And yeah, we could have little arguments and whatever. I mean, that's just what's going to happen from time to time when you're around somebody so much, and somebody that you don't really know, but you're getting to know because you're around them so much. The fact of the matter is, we would definitely go through the things that we would go through, and I would always try to keep that under wraps. It was nobody's business up until the point where he would reappear on some bogus YouTube channel, saying all sorts of untrue things about me, especially in relation to the GoFundMe money. I mean, just, what the hell? I knew responding to that, I knew, first of all, the things that he was saying were untrue. I couldn't believe that he was saying the things that he was saying. I mean, it was a major slap in the face. And I dealt with quite a few slaps in the face for 2020. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But, this was probably the worst one. I'll never forget when somebody had commented the link to this video, Danny's back. And I go check the video out and I see Danny walking across the street. And I'm like, oh, wow, Danny's back. Hell yeah, maybe he's starting his own channel. And then it's immediately just some drama. But I knew responding to that video, that was going to be a huckleberry. That was going to be a definite nail in the coffin right there. Danny, one of the biggest success stories. Danny, one of the favorites of After Prison Show. And just how that ended in a bitter, drama-filled mess. I titled this, something along the lines of mistakes that I've made. And in relation to that whole situation there, I don't know what I could have done different, because I tried everything in an effort to placate or, smooth over any situations that were taking place. But in the end, I just wasn't able to. And in the end, I would have to address the situation that I did. And addressing situations, I did. Outside of that, a few other times throughout 2020. And some of them were back to back. There was the Jellicoe situation I would address. The Danny situation, the situations with Rabbit, Jaron. It's something that caught me completely out of left field. A guy that I thought I was A-okay with, and, everything was Gucci. I didn't hear from him for a week, and then boom, he would pop up not liking me on a Facebook live stream that just whatever. And then Yanni and Levi. 2020 was a bad year. Toward the end, especially. The trolling was a big thing too. Gosh almighty, the many different attacks from the people who don't like me. the After Prison Show subreddit, which is completely against me at this point. And that's very, very sad. I want to say, I'm going to address a couple of things real quick because I want this to get super deep. But, man, I wish we could all just start over. Let's just have a truce. I would welcome that opportunity. I know I got carried away in 2020. The Bobo got carried away. That's why I stopped the Bobo, because I felt like I was legitimately just going so crazy in an effort to try to be funny. But I think that I was like legitimately having like a mental breakdown and like a bipolar manic episode during quite a few of those Bobos. The return of the Bobo, I'm going to try to do better. But the trolling, man, and the many different attacks that would come from that, I really wouldn't mind a truce. I don't even care if you call it like a cop-out or whatever, but man, it just sucks to feel like so many people just don't like you. Yeah, that truly does suck. And to know that somewhere along the line, you caused that. There's, one person in particular who I made some bad comments about. I regret that. I truly do. That person was a fan of After Prison Show for a long time. And then to see them change because maybe they think that I changed, and I probably did. I don't even want you to feel like it's you. It was definitely me. That sounds like we're talking about a relationship here. But yeah, it's crazy to see, people just not like you. And nobody wants to not be liked. One thing also that I want to mention real quick before I move on is, it was just over this past weekend where another person who had been a longtime fan of After Prison Show, I even got a chance to speak with them on the Bobo one time. They definitely were clearly no longer a fan, made a comment, and I would, respond to that comment, whatever. It sucks to lose people who have lost faith in you. And 2021 is going to be my year of, I guess, rebuilding to a certain degree, if that's even possible. But we'll see. Maybe some of those people will be just forever gone, but I would love to see me be able to mend relationships with fans who have just become no longer fans. Definitely something that I'm going to work towards for this year. Another crazy hit that I feel like was the whole Yanni situation. Oh man, this dude's vendetta, man, is just super, super deep. And I hate that because I want to say this, no matter what, and this is going to be so crazy because this man has said some unbelievably bad things. But I'm not even going to go any deeper with that because of the fact that I'm just going to try to get beyond it. I'd like to see us both get beyond it. I feel like we're both too old to be carrying on this, whatever this is, this grudge, this hatred is what it's basically turned to. I think back to a couple of years ago when it all hit the fan with Yanni and me and Yanni and being a part of After Prison Show, and that being a mistake that I had made. I was going to throw up the air quotations, but I didn't want to do that. That being a mistake that I had made, probably handled that situation piss poorly. A couple of years ago, I was definitely handling situations a lot more, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm still handling them just wrong. Regardless of the fact, that was like 2 years ago. Fast forward to the beginning of this year, I was doing the landscaping job, and I would get a message from Yanni, and we would actually get back in contact for a couple of days. And I just want you to know that was like such a cool thing to be able to do. I had always thought so highly of this dude and knew that he was super talented. He is super talented. He could do a lot of really good things on this platform. He really could. And I hope that he does. I just hope that he does it focusing on content and not just this feud. But we got back in contact because of some other drama, but neither here nor there. And it was just good to be able to talk with this guy. We only talked for a couple of days and then that was it. And I hate to say, I don't know if that was like some kind of ulterior thing or whatever like that, but regardless of what it was, I ain't going to think too much into it. It was just good to be able to talk to him. And I would hope at some point we could put the grudge behind us, move on. Moving on to some more positive things that took place in 2020. It wasn't all bad. And probably one of the biggest things that happened was an introduction of a new person. And that was Banky. You know, we brought Banky on. It was somebody close to Banky who had reached out to me first telling me, hey, you should meet with this guy and hear his story. And I'll never forget the first day that I got to meet Banky and went over and just began talking with him about prison and asking him about any prison story. And he would get right into that story and get worked up. I know that can sound probably bad to a certain degree, but he was very good at sharing his story and his experience. And I knew that he was going to be a great addition to After Prison Show. Not only was he that, another thing that I began doing in 2020, which I hadn't been doing prior, was helping people get their own YouTube channel. Banky got his own channel. Dave got his own channel. And maybe that was another mistake. And real quick, let me just clarify what I'm talking about here. In the past, where I would introduce somebody and helping them create a channel wasn't even on the radar. And I don't know why that was. Well, I guess I do know why. I didn't really want nobody to create a competing channel of After Prison Show. But another thing that I would think is, you know, could they even do their own channel, or would they do better as a part of After Prison Show? And I know that you're probably thinking all sorts of crazy things hearing that. But there were certain people who I didn't think would be able to maintain a channel on their own. There were certain people, I don't know, I felt like people could just do better as if they were a part of After Prison Show entirely. But given the course of how things turned out with so many people over the course of time, you know what? This year I realized, let me go ahead and help people get a channel. And there was Banky getting his channel and Dave getting his channel. I've just began to work with Booker, and you know, that's one of the big things that I want to do for Booker is help him have his own channel. But Banky's brought a lot to the table. Super positive dude. He got the opportunity to meet Reggie Barnett Jr. just recently. And I like Banky. Banky's a fun guy to be around. Like, he's just a really solid dude. And solid people, this is no shot to nobody, so please don't think that, but solid people in my life are far and few between. So when I meet somebody who truly is solid and genuine, and man, that means a lot. I got big plans with Banky for 2021. You guys are going to be seeing that real soon. We got a chance to meet Bob this year and do some videos featuring what prisoners are eating in prison. And that's been a crazy series to be able to do. And you know, a lot of people have been asking, where's Bob at? And wondering if there's some kind of drama taking place there. And, you know, speaking of people getting their own channel, Bob has just recently started his own YouTube channel. I've been in contact with Bob. By the time you're seeing this video, you may have already seen an update with Bob, or hopefully soon after this video, you guys will be seeing what may be the final video that I do with Bob. Or maybe, you know, from time to time in the future, we'll still do a video here and there. But Bob has started his own channel. And I think that that's a great thing. I want to see people find success doing this YouTube thing, even if it is a competing channel of After Prison Show. And I think that that's some growth on my part, because in the past, I used to have some animosity for people who had a competing channel or a prison channel in general. I realize now that this thing's way bigger than me. There's so many people who have a story to share. And you know what? Maybe they're able to do so in a way better way than I've ever been able to do here on After Prison Show. Good for them. I want them to be successful. I look at 2021 as the year that things are definitely going to change one way or another. Will After Prison Show survive this year? Can After Prison Show bounce back this year and make some sort of a comeback? I don't know. I hope so. I really enjoy doing this. Am I trying to venture into other things, landscaping and flipping houses and, you know, other things? Absolutely, for a number of reasons, because I know that this YouTube thing won't be here forever. I've said this before and I'm going to say this again, you know, no matter what, by the time it's all said and done, I want to be able to look back and say, you know what, I gave this my all. And I want to be able to say that I regret not that much. But doing this video right here, this little recap, certainly some things from 2020 that I definitely regret, some mistakes that I made that I wish I would have done differently. We got a chance in 2020 to see some people just continue to do amazing. Jew-Man, Shannon, Dave, Banky, even though he's new, Darnell Phillips, And it's been inspiring to see those folks do well. It's been awesome to know those folks and be able to share them with all of you. Even in my own personal life, a big accomplishment for me in 2020 was the fact that I got my rights back. I got my rights restored. We also tried to work with people as much as we could, whether good or bad or however it ended. I would try to work with as many people as I possibly could and try to help as many people as I could as well. And in more times than not, that help usually ends up not really helping all that much. Maybe in 2021, I can find a way to do it a little bit different and do it better. I'll definitely look for that. I want to wrap this up. I know this video is long. I hope that I was able to shed light on some things and maybe make this interesting for you guys. It definitely was, good for me to be able to talk about these things and recap and have an eye-opening moment thinking back to what 2020 was. It was not that great of a year. And it's my hope to make 2021 better. So here's to hope. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. To 2021, y'all. Peace!